morning, everybody. Or well, at least for us,
Good
anyway.
morning, Mr. Bauman. That's what we need.
Yeah. You might be listening to this in the morning, or you might be listening to it in the afternoon, but it's morning for us. Bright and early, 8 a.m. Hello. What's up, everybody? This is Mike Bauman coming at you again from Rossford with my boy. You're my boy, Blue.
What's up, dog?
Mike Jameson. On a very cold, wintry
I'll tell you what. It's
Ohio
freezing.
morning. It's like 19 degrees out.
I'm going to have a $200,000 electric bill. No, I ain't kidding you. Because my gas isn't working right now, and my house has both. So I'm heating my house. You know, I got those little quartz heaters. I mean, the house ain't bad. You know, and my office is a secondary room in the house that was built. So it doesn't have, like, blower heat in it. So it's got one of them long electric heaters, like, you know, and they're all just on, like, flame broil right now. I don't even think what my electric bill's going to be. I'm at $500.
Well, we'll see.
But I don't have a gas bill, so.
Well, right. So I guess it'll even itself out.
Right.
But we had a great weekend of sports in general. I mean, we had an awesome game Friday, a local high school basketball game, and it was probably one of the most fun, if not the most fun, games I've ever been a part of with you guys. Double overtime basketball game between Rossford and Otsego. It was awesome. It was just back and forth. It was really fun to watch, and the place was jumping.
I've actually already have it online. It's already on the site.
Oh yeah,
at ToledoSportsNetwork.com.
Oh, people are going to be eating that up.
Yeah,
man.
That was a good game.
That was a lot of fun, and then we just we had NHL hockey start up, which I'm excited about because I'm a huge hockey guy, and the Red Wings got killed in their first game against the Blues, but I'm still excited that that's back. And then obviously yesterday was the NFC and AFC championship games, and I feel awesome because I did pick in the preseason. You can go back through my Twitter feed all the way back to September. I picked the Baltimore Ravens in the preseason to win the Super Bowl. So
you could have made some money.
And they are in the Super Bowl, and it's kind of a cool storyline as a journalist because the brothers are going to be coaching against one another. How crazy would that be if you make it to the Super Bowl and in order to win and get the one thing that everybody wants to be a part of if they love football from the time they're in Pee Wee and Pop Warner, and you got to beat your brother to get it. I mean, isn't that crazy? I mean, on one end it's like really cool, but it's like both those dudes are super competitive and they both want to win.
Well, and also too that those brothers were born here in Toledo.
Yeah.
That's wild. Hey, you talk for a second. I got a little beeper going up. You hear the beeper?
I do. But yeah, man. So it was a fun weekend, and it was fun to kind of check out the games. I did a game Saturday for Toledo Free Press, Toledo Rockets girls basketball, and they're really, really, really good and always fun to watch. And that was a pretty good game that they had against Buffalo. And then yesterday I just kind of had a chill day and watched some football, which was nice, just to be able to kind of kick back and have one of those days where you just kind of hang out with your buddies and watch some games. So it was fun, man.
You didn't call me, thanks.
What, man? You didn't.
I'm not a buddy, huh?
No, you're a buddy.
I didn't call.
You should have called me and said, "Hey, come over."
I'm thinking about having a little Super Bowl thing here, so thinking about it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game. San Fran, I think, is really they're really deep. They don't get rattled. Because even when they were down 17-0, I was like,
Yeah.
Especially because the week before, Seattle came back on Atlanta and almost won. I was like, man, I don't know what happens to it. Atlanta didn't score any points in the second half.
That was just,
it was insane.
They were just shut out.
It was like two different games. But Baltimore, man, Joe Flacco, everybody says, oh, Joe Flacco. I mean, that dude.
He's the most underrated quarterback in the NFL.
By far.
I mean, just
by far.
Jesus. Can he throw that ball?
Yeah, and look at his...
He just can't run that well. He's not much of a runner.
He's not a mobile guy.
That's where Colin's going to just... That's where they eat him up, and they didn't show that at all in the game.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't run at all. It was completely different from the week before.
And you look at his numbers, too, Flacco. I mean, they had side by side with Brady, and they were better.
Yeah.
They were better. And then I was on my way home last night, and somebody had a stat that said something like Tom Brady was 10-0 in his first 10 playoff starts, and that included like the first 2 Super Bowls or whatever. And since that time, he's been 7-7 or something like that.
It's like 67-0 at home in playoffs. Well, he's not anymore.
Yeah, that was that was insane, man. But
I'm so sick and tired of the New England Patriots. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I hate the New England Patriots. And you know what? Brady is one hell of a quarterback. I think his time has come. I think he's probably got another Super Bowl in him somewhere. I think he does at 35. I think he's got one more in him. But it's incredible what he's done. But Jesus, and then that one guy getting that hit. I can't think of his name now. Where he kind of when he landed, he kind of did the spread eagle, and he kind of later in the game, and they showed it about 1,600 times with the fumble, and he fumbled.
Oh, that was one that I missed.
Did you miss it?
I missed it. Yeah.
And he spun around, and the guy just hit him just right, and he landed like spread eagle, and then had his head all the way down to his kneecap, and spread eagle. In other words, no one could be the. I can't even imagine what that boy feels like right now. And then when he got back, he literally just let go of the ball.
Yeah.
And he, as he's falling down, he had that look like he was paralyzed. It was the weirdest look, and it was real quiet.
Brady?
No, the running back, and he's not one of the starters. I can't think of his name right now.
Is it Woodhead?
No, it wasn't Woodhead.
Wasn't Woodhead? Oh. Yeah, I missed that because we flipped back and I'm a Pistons fan and we were watching some of the Pistons.
Oh, you were watching American Idol, weren't you?
No, we were watching Pistons Celtics, baby. Because the Pistons beat the Celtics by like 15 points. Woohoo! I think they're 2-0 against the Celtics at home this year. So yeah, we were flipping back and forth. Once it was like 28-13 or whatever, and then I was like, yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. But I just thought Baltimore at the beginning of the year, I thought this team is really deep. They got a good mix of veterans on the team. Offensively, they run the football well. They've got guys who can catch it. They don't have star guys. I mean, Bolden's been around for a long time.
Right.
And I was
but he had a huge game.
He did. And Joe Flacco just makes plays, man.
He puts that ball. The only person that could catch that ball was him. That's where he put the ball.
And you could tell the wind was affecting the throws a little bit last night. But you even saw the fundamentals on defense, with the defensive lines, even with San Francisco, with their defensive line and linebackers. If they knew they weren't going to get the sack, as soon as that quarterback was throwing the ball, they were putting their hands up and knocking those balls down. And that was huge when
two or three of them, yeah.
When Baltimore got that turnover, when they slapped that Brady pass when it was going through the air. I mean, that's just fundamental football, man. And so, yeah, I feel like a good prognosticator. But I think it's going to be an interesting Super Bowl, man. I really think it's going to be one heck of a game. And I think that's kind of crazy and very cool that two brothers are coaching against each other. That's pretty sweet. And they got ties to Northwest Ohio, which is kind of ironic, man. But the band that we've got this week is a band that has ties to Northwest Ohio. They're out of Petersburg, Michigan, which isn't too far from Toledo. It's maybe 25 minutes or a half hour. It's not that far. And they're a band called This Is Everything. And I had a lot of fun last week talking to their lead singer, Dustin Longnecker. And these guys it's really cool because three of the guys, Dustin, Kyle Wagenknecht, who's does backup vocals and guitar, and Kyle Spots, who's on bass guitar, they've all known each other since they were little kids, basically since they were like 5 and 6. They were chitlins and grew up together, started getting into music as far as picking up instruments and stuff when they were in junior high, and then started playing shows and stuff after high school. And even though they've all gone to different colleges and stuff, music has kind of been the one thing that gets them together when they're on their breaks and when they have time back at home in Petersburg to hang out with each other. And because Dustin goes to Eastern Michigan. So it was cool talking to Dustin because I could just tell he was really passionate about his music. And these guys, This Is Everything, make music in kind of the pop-punk vein. They're big fans of bands like Blink-182 and Sum 41 Taking Back Sunday, and so they're kind of in that vein, but they just had a really good story, and they have their CD release show coming up here in Toledo at Headliners on January 26th. Their new album, Boomtown, has basically been something they've been working on for the last 2 years, and a lot of stuff has happened that's sort of delayed the release of it, and now it's finally here, and Dustin was so pumped that I was giving them an opportunity to try to get some press with us, and that always makes me feel good when I'm in a position where, I'm doing this because I love it, but at the same time, when I get a chance to spotlight local bands and stuff, like he was just so thankful for the press, and these guys have been working their butts off, and they love what they do and enjoy the music they make, and I think what they do is pretty accessible, because Dustin tries to avoid swearing and everything like that in his lyrics, and we'll get into all that once we get to the interview. But it was fun talking to him, because this is something that, like I said, these guys have 3 of the 5 guys in the band have all grown up together, and have worked hard over the last couple of years to play shows and kind of own their craft. I think they've played in Ann Arbor, they've played in Toledo, they've played the River Raisin Festival up in Blissfield. Which there's a funny story in this interview about one of the shows they did up there. And he was just a really nice, down-to-earth guy, and I'm excited because he gave me permission to give one of you or give you guys one of their songs off of Boomtown, which doesn't come out till January 26th. So at the end of the show, we're going to give you some new music as well. So without further ado, I'm going to shut the heck up and give this one to you. It's a fun one. This is Dustin Longnecker, the vocalist for This Is Everything. Well, first, thank you for taking some time today, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you doing the interview. It's awesome. Any exposure we can get, especially for a show, it's always great.
Well, I mean, I'm always down to give any type of exposure I can to local bands who are trying to make a name for themselves. So it's definitely a mutual respect thing, man. But for you guys, how long has music been something that you personally have wanted to pursue?
Well, as far as the core group, the 3 of us, 3 out of the 5 have been together since high school. Or actually, probably since kindergarten. We've been buddies since we were really young, and probably like 7th or 8th grade, we all started picking up instruments. And probably about right after high school, we started playing shows. And the other 2 guys have been with us for about a year or 2. Our drummer's relatively newer, but we actually knew him through our old drummer, and he actually became our drummer because he was recording a CD we're about to release, and worked out pretty well. But yeah, I mean, we've just it's probably been a compilation of different things with the same guys for about 5 years.
So you and what other 2 guys have known each other since like kindergarten, preschool?
Kyle Spots and Kyle Wagoner.
Okay.
Yeah. We went to the same school, and basically, grew up together. And anytime I've ever done anything musically, it's always been with those 2 involved.
And you're from Petersburg, Michigan?
Yeah, Summerfield area, yeah.
So where are you going to school, man?
I'm going to Eastern.
Okay.
Our guitarist is going to Eastern, and then our bassist graduated from UT, so did our drummer, and then our other guitarist is pursuing other goals.
So for you guys, this was sort of a thing that you said has been 5 years now. So basically, since like it was high school when you guys started playing as This Is Everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we started playing, calling ourselves This Is Everything until about after high school. But I mean, we've always kind of done music stuff. In the last 2 years, since Ethan Holy joined the band, it's gotten a lot more serious. And then Nick Goods really helped us as far as that direction and kind of getting us where we need to go. And really, anything the CD has become, it's because he helped direct us, I guess. He was definitely the producer and director on this deal.
So did you go to Petersburg High School?
Yeah, we went to Summerfield, yeah.
Or Summerfield, that's right, my bad. Okay.
Yep.
Now for you, has music been something that that's grabbed you for a long time? Like how long have you been like really into music?
Well, like growing up, my dad always had like classic rock with blaring in the car, and Kyle Wagner. Once we got to high school, I wasn't really sure what kind of music I liked or what I was really into, and Kyle brought me a bunch of Blink-182 CDs, and we really started like getting into that, like bonding through that, and like after that, I was hooked, and pop punk has always been a big deal for me. Like anytime I can hear something with a catchy lyric, I'm always into it.
Yeah, pop punk has been something that's I think it was probably at its height, I think around the time when because I graduated from high school in 2006, so we're pretty much the same age, but like junior high-ish, I remember it was everywhere. You had like Blink-182 in sort of the late 90s where it was definitely like at the forefront, and then I remember as I was getting into high school, Newfound Glory started making a name for themselves, and it's funny because now there's actually a lot of pop punk influence in a lot of metalcore bands, like even a band like a Day to Remember. So it's kind of funny how and interesting how everything sort of comes full circle.
Yeah, I kind of feel like though sometimes, especially being in local music, that I'm a fan of disco. You know what I'm saying? It's like pop punk is just like yeah, there's a lot like it's made its way into other music, so there's not really any pure pop punk anymore. And I mean, as much as I love A Day to Remember and For You're Strong, and I definitely have them on my iPod and jam out to them, it's just like I feel like it's a dying thing, and like I also feel that way. Like I blame it a little bit on social media. Like I blame. Or I just feel like local music's dying out too. Like there's so many shows that I like try to make some that aren't my bands, and I try to set some up, and it's just everyone's like, oh, I'll read about it on Facebook, or I'll see the pictures on Facebook. You know, like nobody. Like I feel like we're in a culture now where people don't really feel like experiencing it; they just feel like reading about it later. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely kind of a different era we're living in, and I think you're right. As far as the social media and everything, a lot of people, we experience things, our generation is experiencing things like way differently than people would have, even 10 years ago, just because now everybody's got Twitter and internet and all that stuff on their phone, so information gets shared so quickly, and I think before it would be like you'd be word of mouth. It'd be like, oh, did you hear about This Is Everything? I haven't seen it play. Let's go to the show. And now it's like people can go to your Facebook page and they're already giving you a thumbs up or a thumbs down before they even decide whether or not they want to go to the show. When previously they probably would have just gone to the show to check you out.
They don't even have to. They don't even have to have been there to have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, it was like, oh, you missed it. I was like, no, I didn't. No, I just gotta find the HTML, or whatever.
Now, as far as growing up in Petersburg, my stepbrother used to date a girl a long time ago that was from there, and my stepmom is from Ida, which isn't too far from that area. But growing up in a small town like that, did you sort of have, as you guys got the ball rolling for this band and stuff, is it sort of in the back of your mind like, man, that would be so cool to sort of dream big or whatever? I mean, what was it like growing up in a small town like that and sort of having the collective musical influence and stuff that you guys had?
Well, it was always nice just because we were so tightly knit. We were such a small community. It was always like your group of friends was kind of your group of friends. And, we've always had, bigger dreams, but for the most part, it's at least, our main goal, at least my main goal after high school was just, it was kind of something to keep us still together and hanging out. Because, our bassist got married. We're all going off to different colleges. It was something where we could all band together and still do stuff together and actually have, a reason to hang, And, as far as our music, we definitely, want to take it as far as we can, but I don't try and, reach for the golden ring every 5 seconds or, go after things that are, that seem like they're just going to rocket us into stardom, because, so many things in local music, as soon as something sounds like it's a really awesome thing, it ends up being some, jerk with a puppet trying to scam. It always seems, I don't know.
So what was the first artist or the first music that you listened to that really grabbed you and inspired you to pick up a mic and want to sing?
Two local artists that have always been really good to us. Two local artists that I always really liked, and one of them we're good friends with now. Would be Capal or Spaghetti Zombies. They were a big Ida punk band, and they still are for the most part. Throughout like 2000 on, and a really cool band I got to see in Toledo, who I always I always shoot to be as far as what we do is the Express Local. They were a punk band with a little bit of a keys, like they had some keyboarding stuff, a little bit of synth in there. They were a really neat band to listen to. I think there's some of their stuff still up in MySpace. I don't think they were around for very long, but I remember seeing them at a show. I think they were opening up for Cartel at Headliners or something, and I just remember being like, "That's what I want to do. Like that's who I want us to be." Because I mean, we jammed for a really long time, but we probably didn't become a band until This Is Everything.
So you said Capal, and the other one was Express Local?
The Express Local, yeah.
Oh, The Express Local?
Yeah.
Now, and do you remember the first time you guys played together as This Is Everything? Like your first show?
This Is Everything kind of started off as like a 3-person acoustic act, and then I think our first shows, as far as like mostly the current band, like our old drummer is Mike Doyle. I think our first shows with him at the drumming, they were Race to the Cures. Like we like wanted to do some like just basic like silly kind of easygoing shows for like an all age deal, because we're I don't know. I think we talk about tougher things, but we're still pretty PG, and like I think from like a 6-year-old to a 90-year-old, like everyone can really enjoy the sound. Like there's nothing in there that doesn't transcend. But our first shows were probably just coffee houses and like Erase the Cures, and then not till recently we kind of started doing different bars in different areas. But yeah.
So when would you say you guys officially formed? Like 2009, 2010? Was that you said the last couple of years was when things started to get more serious?
2010 is probably the specific, like since we've been the 5 Ds, yeah.
And to this point, you guys had a self-titled EP, which was, I think it said that released in October 2010, and then you did a remix of Scurry Girl, which was like November 2011.
Yeah, the funny thing about the remix is Scurry Girl is on the new CD. It wasn't even on the old CD. So we've been trying to record this last CD for the past 2 years. We kept falling out with different people who were recording us. We worked with a place called Rock Shot Records out in Napoleon, Ohio, and something happened where they weren't going to be recording anymore. And so yeah. Anyway. We finally just got the CD recorded. So, it's been a 2-year battle. Our bassist got married, other things kept coming out, but we finally got the sucker done.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that a little bit, because I did a little bit of delving as part of my journalistic duties, and I saw that basically the past several months have been kind of crazy for you guys. I read that you basically lost 95% of what you recorded because it was due out. Was it May 2012, and then your drummer left? Can you kind of take me through sort of what it's been like just within the last year?
Okay, so Mikey kind of told us right before we got done with the CD that he had a job offer, and it was going to be far enough away where he wasn't going to be able to practice on a current basis, on a weekly basis, and so, we said, okay, well, let's get the CD done, let's do a CD release party, and that'll be your last show, and it'll be a good way to send you off. And then, we're about 95 to 99% done with the CD, and our current drummer / person who was recording us, Nick Good, his computer crashed. And so Mikey wasn't going to be able to stick around and re-record the stuff, and Nick had mentioned that he'd be able to finish some drum stuff It's like, hey, I got a family event I have to go to, and our bassist is getting married, and that was a very tough time too, because we were trying to be patient. We knew it was an important time in his life, but it was just like every time we had to do something, he had to do something to do with weddings or marriage or his girlfriend or his wife's family, and it's just like, whew. But we finally got it done, and it just, I don't know, it was a good thing that it crashed, because we got better equipment to do the recordings, and we got to work on the songs more. Like, 2 years is a long time and way too long to make a CD, I think, but at the same time, I think the songs are going to come out and sound amazing. I don't think this is me being a little, I don't like to be, I don't want to say this cocky or self-involved, but I think this is the best local CD I've ever heard. Maybe that's just because it's my band, but really, like, when I think about, like, the bands we've always looked up to, I really think this is just as good, if not better, than their CDs.
So this is something that you guys started working on in 2010? Like, that's how long this process has taken to try to get it to this point?
Yeah, literally, I think as soon as the other CD was done, we were writing new songs, and probably had about, I would think, 2 or 3 new songs by the time we were selling the old CD, the self-titled CD, and then, like, I think it's a good thing that it took us a little bit of time, because we wrote, like, 1 or 2 new songs to put on the CD, and I really think they had a good, like, icing on the cake. But yeah, like, it's taken us a while.
Well, excuse me, man. I got kind of a sinus thing going on.
It's all good.
But I was going to ask you, or say that I think as a local band or an independent artist, that's sometimes that can be a good thing in terms of not having like a label. Is that you can kind of take as long as you want to put together something until you really feel like you've got it to a point where you're ready to give it to people. So sometimes I think that can kind of almost be a blessing in disguise. Now that you've had a chance to sort of look back on how long it's taken to put this together, do you think it kind of all worked out that way?
I think it worked out awesome. Like, I couldn't be happier with the way it went. But as a local band, you cherish and you just love every person whose face you don't recognize who likes your music. It's like a huge deal when someone's like, "Hey, your band's really awesome," and you have no idea who they are, and you just worry that after 2 years, people forgot all the good things they heard.
Well, as we were kind of talking about earlier, that's the one good thing about the internet is if you do have some hiccups, you can still go on Facebook every now and again and be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? Are you guys still around?"
Yeah, for sure.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I was going to say a little bit off topic, but off the old CD, I Hate My Job. I think one of the best moments we ever had was we were playing a festival in Blissfield, and there was a little old lady in the back of the crowd who looked like she could barely stand on her own and was just screaming, "I hate my job," back at us, and it was fantastic. I'd never heard the song before in her life, didn't care, but was just so jacked about that song, was giving it her all. I don't know, it was so great.
This was a show you guys did in your hometown?
We did it. There's the River Raisins Festival. It's kind of something we've done for the past few years. We didn't get to do it last year because of some problems, but the River Raisins Festival in Blissfield. It's I don't know. There's not a ton of people from our high school around anymore, so it's just kind of all Blissfield locals, and it's great because we usually get an older crowd, but they love us. At least they've always been really great to us, and it was just funny as heck because there's this little old lady just in the back of the crowd, on the sidewalk, just jamming out, louder than anybody there. It was great.
So you weren't kidding when you said you believe that your demographic is 6 years old to 90 years old.
I mean, here's the thing is, I do my best not use profanity in my lyrics because I want to be able to show my grandparents. It's I don't mean to be Will Smith, but at the same time, I want to put something out there that I'm a sailor in real life, but at the same time, I want to put something out there that everyone can enjoy, and I want it to sound artistic and not ridiculous or way, and I have like the classic rock, like heavy rock background. So in every song, even though it's more of a pop punk hit, you can still hear that heavier, like more melodic sound that I think a lot of older crowds like, and we still have the speed and the energy that like younger crowds do.
Yeah, I listened to your guys' self-titled EP. I mean, it definitely reminded me of some of those pop punk bands, you know, and I could hear sort of the Blink influence and Newfound Glory and stuff. But at the same time, the guitars were, they were pretty heavy in certain parts, and there was kind of a little bit of breakdowns, which I thought was kind of a cool twist. Because sometimes when you hear pop punk, you think immediately maybe somebody's just. You think it's going to be specifically in that vein of sound, but there's definitely, I think you guys have your own little niche going.
Yeah, I mean that's the hardest thing about local music is you're like it's almost hard to say you're part of the genre because like sometimes you're just not like you're almost not making real music because you're a younger band or whatever, and it's still just silly little songs, but like. When you kind of start getting your feet underneath you and start really making songs, you don't ever sound like anybody, I think, unless you're doing it wrong. And it's like, it's hard to say. Like, I think we're pop punk, that's the music we listen to, and that's the sound we try and go for. But at the same time, I don't think the songs always end up that way.
So
I will say this, too. If you were to listen to the old CD and listen to the new CD, it's like a billion years difference. Like, I don't think we've really 1,000% matured as a band, but you can definitely just hear some things that you wouldn't have expected on the old CD, but at the same time, I think we held true to our sound, I guess.
So now your new drummer, his name is Nick?
Yeah, Nick Good.
Nick Good. And he has his own, does he have like his own recording studio? This is who you guys have been working with the new record?
Actually, we did everything in his bedroom. He just has a really good recording setup. We did all the vocals in his closet, and we recorded drums in his room. So I think he recorded drums in a couple different spots, and like at different houses and things like that. But for the most part, we did everything in his room.
And now he's like a full-time member with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes right now, yeah.
And talk to me about sort of the title and the name behind Boomtown and what this record is about.
Well, basically, Boomtown was kind of like we like this band is so diverse. Trying to kind of decide or make a decision on anything is like the hardest thing in the world because as soon as someone thinks they have like a great idea, the other person is like, "Well, like that." And I mean, it's really good because like you listen, like when I listen to a lot of the old Blink stuff, they hear that like talk about stretching the idea and taking it 100 different ways, and like you being part of a like close-knit band like we are, you really see that. And sometimes it's extremely frustrating because I'll have an idea and I'll think, yeah, that's great, and I'll go present it, and I'll be like, we don't like that. And then I'll go, what do you guys think? And I'll go, we don't have any ideas. But no, Boomtown was just every time we wrote a good song, or every time we got done with a song, and we're just so excited, we pound it, pound this, and go, Boomtown. And it was just like, it just became like this, like, that sounds really cool, because in a way it's something we've, like, kind of been, like, using as, like, a celebratory thing, and, like, a mantra, but it's also, like, it could be something turned into something really cool and epic looking, like, I came up with the idea with the mushroom cloud, and I had a friend of mine's wife draw it up and, like, create it, and, yeah, I think it ended up like really good. Like it went from being a little silly idea, but like like a mantra, high five, and then it looking like something really insane and cool. Like I don't know, it's like a apocalyptic party, like.
So as a singer on this new record, like lyrically, what are you tackling on the new stuff? What can people expect?
Well, I think the rhythms are definitely more like, I think the lyrical rhythms are like a lot more complex, and I think like I'm really proud of that. There's still a couple vocal things I wish I could go back and do, but I feel like that's every CD. But let's see here. Let me go through the songs. I did an adaptation or like I read. I'm a lit minor, and so I read William Blake's poem "The Tiger," and like a little bit of the backstory on William Blake. And he's like he was a super religious guy, and he had all these like women like followers, and the lamb and the tiger were like two of the things he was like two of his most famous poems. And the tiger is what he questions God. And William Blake is like practically a priest in the fact that he's just super religious. And the fact that he takes this poem to like question his like super extremely concrete beliefs, I found that awesome. So like that's one of the songs we wrote is actually called Tiger with a Y. And it just kind of talks about that. Like why are shitty things in the world? Like, and then we got a song called Grow Up, which is basically like talking about always being 16, because I feel like that's what pop punk is a lot of the time. Let's see here. There's a song called Screwy Girl, which is, and you heard the remix, it's just kind of a poppier, funner song. Sing to Me, which, I don't know if I want to have you put this in the paper, but Sing to Me was actually like written outside of a strip club when I was like waiting for some friends, and I was just like sitting outside this shitty strip club, and they were gonna like pick me up or whatever, and I just had a notepad in my hand and like wrote that down. I don't know.
I guess I'm more curious as to why you had a notepad at a strip club.
Well, see, I wasn't actually in the strip club. See, I live in Ypsilanti, and like the main downtown area is like encompassed around a strip club, so it's like, oh hey guys, like whenever you're ready to come get me, I'm in this random parking lot outside of a strip club. I don't know. It's long story. Let's see here. The last song we wrote for this album, I think is probably I think it's my favorite because we haven't really like played it 1,000 times yet. But I can't even think of what it's called. It's so new. Young and Rebellious. Like Young and Rebellious is our newest song. The Statement is our oldest song, and they're both high energy. Like you can't tell us what the fuck to do punk songs. Like, and that I don't know. I wanted to have that on this album because you write so many songs about girls, and like you write so many songs about whatever, but like I think the core of punk is like we're not going to take it and we're going to give it right back. And I'm pretty happy with the Statement, Young and Rebellious, that we captured that.
So is this going to be available just digitally, or are you guys making physical copies of this too?
I believe the physical copies are actually getting delivered today, and we're going to release those at the show on the 26th. And as far as I know, digitally, there's supposed to be, I think, every major digital music release place, like iTunes and whatever else, is supposed to have the CD on there.
That's pretty cool that you guys will be able to have the physical artwork with people too, because I think there's still a lot of people, especially if they're really big fans of your music. Most people I still think really want something physical to hold on to.
See, and I'm one of those people. I think I just bought the newest Blink album, and they didn't release the physical copy, and I was just kind of like, the one I have artwork. Why do this? I'm just gonna get the MP3s. Like I don't know. I like having most of the time the CD gets smashed or jammed someplace in your car, but I like having the physical copy of that just because it's like it. I don't know. It has that extra pop to it. It's just that much more exciting because you can just look at it and you can read it. And you don't have to click a mouse. I don't know. I think everything gets a little too electronic sometimes, and that's one thing I like. Definitely, as far as music goes too, I always like the more natural sound. We're not a band that really, as much as we want to, we're not really a band that would play to a click or have synth in the background unless someone was playing a piano. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely, I feel like I try to keep us a little more old-fashioned, but at the same time, newer.
Yeah, and so this will be the 26th is when you guys are going to release it at the show?
Yeah.
What do you think that atmosphere is going to be like, man?
I'm hoping exciting. I don't know. Toledo's kind of a crapshoot anymore. Like, I love that place, and that is definitely our stomping grounds, and I'm really happy we're playing, like, the show there, but at the same time, I don't know, Toledo's kind of dead, especially in January. Like, I think us, this band, and Ryan's Bed the Fire, and other younger bands like us, well, I don't know if we're younger anymore, but, like, are really trying to bring Toledo back to, like, an exciting, like, place. But, you know, you hear all these things about shootings and stabbings, and, you know, parents and, you know, people get scared. It's just, it's hard to do. But I think I can kind of see Toledo getting back to where it was when I was a kid. I hope so.
And,
I think the show's going to be really exciting. I mean, it's 2 years of our hard work and sweat and craziness. And I mean, you know, there's two people there. I think we're going to rock out until I don't have a voice anymore, and, you know, the drummer's ready to pass out flat. But.
Well, I think the local music scene, I think even though Toledo as a whole has kind of been hit hard with sort of the economic situation, I think Toledo musically, there's been a lot of good stuff going on the last couple of years across the board. There's been a lot of different bands and stuff, and I think people are going to shows. So I think even though it's wintertime, hopefully you guys will have a pretty decent crowd there.
Yeah, I hope so.
And so you said you're a lit minor. What's your major?
I'm actually a physical education major, and I've got a health and lit minor, and then our guitarist, Kyle Wagner's an aviation major. Our bassist is pharmaceutical, and I think our drummer's I'm not exactly sure what his degree is. Yeah.
So you guys are all across the board then, huh?
Yeah, I don't think anyone, like, music's definitely our passion, but I don't think anyone, definitely set out wanting to go for, you know, anything musically.
Well, the last thing I'll ask you, man, before I let you go, and thanks again, Dustin, for taking the time, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome, man. No problem.
Now that this is finally kind of coming to fruition, and you look back at how many years you and both Kyles have together, and even the kind of the trip that the band has been on in the 2 years since, you know, what's it like to just finally have this moment arrive, and you're finally getting the CDs and you get to look at it and you're like, man, that was like years worth of work right there. I mean, what has it been like to sort of carry out the vision, like you said, of after high school still being able to have music be the thing that sort of unites all you guys together?
Well, I'm not I guess I would be the person who looks towards the future, so I'm already thinking about, like, other CDs, other things we can be doing after this, but it's real awesome to see the transformation, first of all, since it's also joined the band. I can see change, and he's always definitely been that, like, driving force, one who's just, like, constantly bugging us to keep going and keep pushing and keep doing more, and it's just, it's not, I can't tell him every other weekend over these 2 years to just be patient, and things are going to come, and I mean, obviously 2 years later, it's a little, you know, it was a while, but it's like everything you hear, it's really awesome, and I think after this show, I think we can kind of take a small but deep breath and go, yeah, we did it, and we accomplished it, and my hope is that we keep trucking along and keep making new music and keep getting take the CD and use it as some kind of vessel. I mean, both Kyle Spots, Kyle Wagner, you know, and these guys put a lot of artistic vision and a lot of, like, really good ideas and hard work into this CD, and, I mean, Nick's only made it better, and I think it's going to be really great. I think this show is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be the biggest thing we've ever done and put out, and then I hope we bounce back up and hit the ground running. I mean, that's what I hope. I hope we're making CDs and making music till we all got walkers, like, attached to our guitars. I hope, you know, but you never know. I mean, tomorrow it could end, who knows? But, I mean, it's just, I feel like we've got a really talented group, and I feel like we've got a really intelligent and exciting group, and I hope we always keep making music, and I hope this is just another stepping stone. As much as proud of the CDs I am, I feel like it's the best thing we've ever accomplished, you know, together, but I hope we keep going.
righty, doity. I hope you guys enjoyed